Hello and welcome to Becoming Her, the self-image shift. This is a workshop designed for women who deep inside know they have a greater purpose. They know they're meant for more than what they're doing. Um, for the woman who gets that nagging little whisper that tells her there's more, there's something more in this life for me. That's who this workshop is for, because becoming her isn't about becoming somebody else. It's about becoming the greatest version of yourself that's already inside you. So it's about becoming the version of yourself that's kind of been covered up by a lifetime of society, careers, social influences, just lots of different things. But we'll visit that here throughout the workshop. But so it's not about becoming somebody else. It's about coming back to who you are at your core, your values, your dreams, your strengths, your purpose, all of that before you got redirected. So, um, I tossed around a different title because I didn't want it to be misunderstood, because it isn't about becoming somebody else and it's not about becoming like someone else. It's becoming the greatest version of yourself. And that version is already inside of you. So that's what we're working on tonight. That's what we're going to uncover is, who is she? And the worksheet, if you haven't already downloaded it, it's accessible. It was sent through email. If for some reason you can't find it or don't have it, just message me and let me know. But we're basically going to walk through the worksheet tonight together. And you'll need a pen and a notebook. There's not much room on the sheet for writing, but grab a notebook because you'll want to start putting things on paper. When you put things on paper, it takes on a different life. It takes on a life of its own, and it makes it more tangible. So you want to start putting your dreams, your thoughts, you want to start putting it on paper, your goals, um your vision of what you want your life to look like. This work has literally changed my life. I'm living a completely different life than I was a short time ago. And it has allowed me to step away from my nurse practitioner career of many years and to do work that I absolutely love, that lights me up, that doesn't even feel like work when I'm doing it. So that's the power of this sort of work. So that's what I'm sharing with you tonight. And I want to start by just letting us get grounded. So to let your day kind of go by the wayside, try to put anything else on the back burner for just this time, because something called you to register for this workshop. So something about it spoke to you. So I want you to give yourself this time to explore what that is, what it could look like, and start the process of digging in. And it's actually fun. So when I say the deep work, it is like you're digging deep, but I enjoy the work, and I think the whole process, what we're going to walk through tonight, is actually fun. We won't accomplish all of it tonight because it'll require you to sit down and give some of this more thought, but we are absolutely going to make um, some life changing, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, we're going to make a dent in this. We're going to make a change in your life. And I know you will walk away from this different. So start here just for the moment. And I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose. And out through your mouth. Okay. Just a little effort to quiet some of the outside noise and just really prepare yourself to go inside and prepare yourself to focus on yourself right now and just to allow this time for yourself. All right. So let's have some fun. All right. I need my glasses for this, but so the first thing I want you to do actually is to set an intention for this workshop. What brought you here? So what are you hoping to get out of this? What are you hoping to realize? What would make this time together meaningful? Um, the importance of an intention is so you actually set the scene because you're coming into this with an intention that you have set. And when we do that, when we do things with intention, we take the reins as to the direction things are going rather than having it come at us. We set the direction. So write down on that little line there just what your intention is for this time together. What are you hoping to realize? What are you hoping to walk away with? And um, we'll let give you just a minute or two just to give that some thought. And we'll pause the recording. But for those that are watching the replay, you will want to pause this so that you take a moment to set your intention as well. Okay, so now that we've set an intention for the workshop, we're going to move on to the next line here, which is expanding your vision. So all too often we were taught to set realistic goals, to conform, to follow the rules, to not think too big, you'll be disappointed, not to outshine anybody else, that sort of thing. So the next thing we're going to talk about is thinking big, setting massive goals and really expanding your vision. But before I actually give you a little more details on where to go with that, I wanted to read a little paragraph out of Marianne Williamson's book, A Return to Love. And this paragraph just gets me every time. And it's honestly, it's what this sort of work is all about. And a lot of times I feel like this is exactly what holds women back. Women like yourself who have a greater calling, a massive purpose, amazing women with so many talents and passions. And it all somehow gets squashed and quieted down. But this paragraph to me is so meaningful, and I hope you love it too. So here we go. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, or fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. You are a child of God. It's in everyone. And we let our own, if as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. So the reason I love that so much is because I feel like we don't want to outshine somebody else. We're taught to play small and we don't want to make others feel bad. If I take more, somebody else has to take less. And in the material world, maybe if you're talking about a pie, that applies. But in the spirit world, when I expand, I take other people with me. And when I grow, the people around me grow. And when I'm living a life that's authentic and I'm sharing my gifts, I'm helping somebody else. And then that person's helping somebody else. So it's that whole ripple effect. So that's why I love it so much, because I think we're fearful of so many things and but change, and we're afraid of shining. And what if you allowed yourself to think big? What if you allowed yourself to shine? What if you allowed yourself to set really major goals that may seem unrealistic? And don't forget, the how is none of your business. How this is going to happen is none of your business. Um, that gets delivered to you along the way. So what I want you to do here, expanding your vision. So imagine a world where there's no limits. What would your life look like? Who would you who would you be? What would you have? What would your life look like? What would you be doing for work? What would all of that look like? If you could write down, actually, let's have you do this. We won't have time to do it on the call, but take the time to write down 50 things you would love to have. It doesn't have to be material things. It can be in the way of how your life would look, or relationships. How would all of that look? Career, relationships, your body, your health. How would it all look? So, um, now remember, money's no object, time is no object. There are no obstacles to having these things. So think really big, think outside the box. And there's things that probably we often don't even think of, but maybe, you would have a better fitness routine, maybe a healthier diet. So maybe you'd have a nutritionist. Maybe you enjoy being out in nature. Maybe your yard would look different. You'd have a landscaper. All of those things. What would your work be, your contribution to the world? What is your purpose? And many people don't know, and that's okay. This is really just to get your thoughts going and to start thinking extraordinary and not just what we're used to. Really expanding your vision, completely blowing it out of the water. Um, all my life, I always thought small. I was always a people pleaser. I was um, very much afraid to fail. It was always looking for that external validation, getting another degree, getting another certification. Maybe if I get one more um, certification or another degree or a raise or a job title, I'll be worthy, because the outside world says I'm worthy, or the outside world says I've reached a level of success. But success is all an inside job, and it's all it's all internal. Because when you're trying to answer to two, let's say two gods, but if you're trying to answer to the outside world, but it isn't congruent with what is going on the inside, then you're out of alignment and nothing falls into place correctly. You feel everything feels forced and everything, um, there's always that little bit of a tug that you're not quite where you want to be. Because inside, that's where that little whisper comes in. Gosh, I seem like I have it all, but yet I'm not lit up. I'm not fueled by my life. So you really want to take the time to expand your vision and what would your life look like if money, time, there were no obstacles? What would it look like? And allow yourself to dream big because this can allow you to start even remotely thinking about what I do want. A lot of us don't even know. For a long time, I did not know what I liked to do. If you had asked me, and somebody did ask me, what do you like to do? And I didn't know. I didn't know what I like to do. So um, you want to really give that some thought and sit with it for a little bit. Put some peaceful music on, being quiet, a candle, sit in nature, whatever is comforting for you. Okay. So, um, the next thing you want to do from there is we want to investigate what are the current beliefs that might be holding you back. What's that? Might be holding you back from this actual life. So, as you were writing down this expanded vision of all the things you would love to have, what were the little beliefs and the little thoughts that creeped in to ruin it? The doubt, the fear, the I could never, that's for them, not for me, that's for her, not for me. Um, all those, I'm too quiet for that, I'm too shy for that, I never did that before. All those little tiny thoughts. What would people say? Oh my gosh, people would talk about it. Ooh, I don't want to let anybody else down. For everybody, it's different, but it's those little beliefs that creep in. They're in your subconscious mind. Some of them are at the forefront of your mind and your conscious mind, and you may catch them, but most of the time, 95% of what's driving our behavior is the subconscious mind. And that can be changed. There's scientific proof of that. And that's one of my favorite things to talk about. But neuroplasticity is the actual changing of the brain's neural pathways by introducing new behaviors, um, new habits just over and over again, you retrain the pathways. So it's actual science that you can change the subconscious mind. But as we sit right now, the subconscious mind is driving 95% of our behavior. So when you don't get a handle on it or develop an awareness of your thoughts, you're really missing an opportunity to change your life. Our thoughts are powerful, ladies. Our thoughts are powerful. Um, so, what are some of those beliefs? So, they could be stories you've carried with you since childhood, identities that are handed down to you from teachers, family members, friends, and then you've just kind of carried the identity around with you, put it on like a jacket every day. But we have a choice to change that. With a decision, you can change all that. You can change the identity. I'm kind of using the word self-image and identity interchangeably, um, but you can change your self-image. You can change your identity, and the world will believe about you what you believe about you, and that's powerful. Because you can't pretend. You can't fool the subconscious mind, but you can't fool the outside world either because they feel it in your energy. They feel it in the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the way you enter a room. it's felt. So you can say affirmations in the mirror all day, but it's not going to change things because it's got to be felt, and it's got to be felt on an emotional level consistently for it to change the brain. And it's possible. It is absolutely possible. And it's actually fun work. So, you want to be aware of what are the thoughts that you creep in when you start thinking outside the box. When you think outside of your comfort zone or your day-to-day life, what thoughts are creeping in? So that's one of the things we work on in my program, and it's powerful because it really just changes your life. And our thoughts are powerful. And this work is powerful. So anyway, with that, now that we've expanded your vision, we have touched upon the little negative thoughts and beliefs that might be creeping in and holding you back. And with that, we want to start to shift that. So the shift is in the way you feel. So you can't fake when people say fake it till you make it. I agree with that to an extent for sure, because it is uncomfortable when you start doing things differently. So you do sort of feel like you're faking it. Um, but you really want to start to embody it on an emotional level so you really become that version of yourself. Because when you feel that on an emotional level, everything around you experiences that because you vibrate at a different frequency. It's all about the frequency you're vibrating at. You can say one thing, but if you're feeling differently inside, you're going to attract what you're feeling on the inside. So that's why it's so important to do the work, because you can't fake energy and frequency or any of that. Um, so what you want to do here is, what is the identity or the self-image of the woman who is living that life in your expanded vision? What does she think like? What does she dress like? What are some of her daily habits? What does she um, what does she like to do? What does she like to do? What does she consume for her diet? How does she fuel the vessel? Because I bet in the expanded version of yourself, that great high version of yourself, I'll bet that person um, loves herself. And when you love yourself, you take care of yourself. You take care of your body. You take care of your mind. You have boundaries. You respect yourself. You respect your body. You treat yourself well because you love yourself. And truly, self-love is at the core of all this work, because when you don't love yourself, everything else on the outside feels that. So you attract more of that because you can't receive something that you don't have. I think what I meant to say was you you can't give something you don't have. And it's giving and receiving. So if you don't love yourself, you can't allow yourself to be loved. Um, it's all an inside job. So when you think about what would it be like to live as the woman who's already there, what thoughts, emotions, and energy does she embody? So how does she walk through the world, really, is what we're getting at. How does she carry herself? How does she enter a room? How does she interact with people? How does she handle conflict? What do her relationships look like? And all of this is very individual. What's meaningful to me may not be meaningful to you at all. And what's important to me in a relationship might not be what's important to you. And I think really sitting down and figuring out what's important to you is so important, because sometimes we've lost that over the years. And it's important because we can't find happiness in the outside world if we're not happy on the inside. The outside world can't um, make us happy. And the outside world can be so loud sometimes that it does sometimes take over, or it can dictate your thoughts or the way your life plays out. So that's why this work is that important, because you can really go inside. And when you're able to shut out the noise and allow yourself time for that introspection, it's it's really powerful. So I definitely encourage you, although we're going through the workshop here together, I mean, going through the worksheet here together, I want you to go through it on your own when you have time to really sit with the questions and really sit with the material and really dive deep, especially in the part where it says feel the shift. Really think about what is the identity of the woman living the life that you're describing in the expanded vision. So this is the becoming her. Who is that person? This is where the shift takes place. You feel it because you start showing up differently. This is where the becoming starts to take place. You start to do things differently. That's the embodiment of the work. That's the embodiment of the material. It's taking action so that it becomes who you are. It becomes um, it becomes just that. It becomes who you are. But it's not somebody that isn't you. It's the you that's inside. But only you know who she is, and only you know what's important to her, and only you know what her purpose is, what her passion is, what her calling is, what's important to her, what values are important to her, what, I mean, for me, family, health, integrity, loyalty, honesty, those are all the things that are super important to me. And it all comes down to relationships with my loved ones is the most important thing in my world. And with that, it's everything else expands from there. Um, but it's hard to have one thing without having others, because you have to, when you value your relationships, absolutely. But to do that, you also have to value yourself. And in that, you have to value being healthy. You have to value taking care of yourself. Um, Relationships are give and take. It's not all receiving, it's not all giving. That's not balanced. So that doesn't work either. So it's figuring it all out, and um, you just know. I just know when I'm in alignment with what I'm doing. I know when I'm in alignment with something I'm about to do. I know when I'm not in alignment with something I'm about to do. And there was a time when I didn't listen to that. I didn't listen to my gut. I didn't listen to my intuition. And now I do. And that's a game changer, because when you do quiet down the outside noise, you will get all the guidance you need. You will get all the steps. They'll all be delivered to you. And we've been conditioned to rely on somebody else outside of ourselves to get the answers, but you already have all the answers. You do. And when you really begin to trust yourself and trust that there's a higher power. For me, it's God, but it doesn't have to be. It can be God, it can be a universe, source, it, but trusting that there's a higher power guiding you and supporting you along the way is really powerful for me. And it allows me to trust the process. It allows me to trust that what's happening is meant to happen and that, everything's happening for me, not to me. So even when things don't go as expected, um, that's okay because I know there's a reason for it and it's pointing me in another direction. I have trained myself to see things that way. So I don't see things as negative anymore. I see it as redirection. And I truly believe that. And I've been redirected many times and I'm thankful for it. Um, so that's where you really want to dive into the who is she. So having said that, that work is fun when you really, really figure out who she is. Start to try it on like a jacket. Start to try it on. What is, and that's the last thing that's on here. What's one aligned action that you will take this week? One thing. One thing. You maybe you set a new boundary. Maybe you start a new habit. Maybe you wake up in the morning and rather than checking your phone, you practice gratitude. Maybe instead of using the term I have to do, you swap that out for I get to do. And sometimes, not sometimes, that truly always shifts how that feels. I have to do something feels heavy, and I get to do sounds like gratitude, sounds like I'm thankful. And whatever you're putting out is what you're getting back. So when your energy is clean and your energy is um, at a high frequency, that's what you're attracting into your life. And it's powerful. So pick one thing that you're going to do this week, one aligned action that you're going to take um, based on this workshop. Something you discovered here that you would like to shift and really get crystal clear on how you would expand your vision, like really go to town on that when you have a moment to yourself. And don't wait. If you can't do it tonight, do it tomorrow because tomorrow turns into the next day, turns into the weekend, turns into next week. So make a commitment to yourself that you're going to give this some time because it will change your life. So this is really just the tip of what we study within the container that I teach in. And the whole process from soup to nuts is really you've got to have an awareness of your thoughts, catching yourself. You can't go through the motions every day. It's got to start with your thoughts and changing your behaviors. Remember, if nothing changes, then nothing ever changes. And I'm guilty of it. For years, I did the same thing day in and day out, and day in and day out, and then wondered why nothing ever changed. And it wasn't until I made a decision that something had to change. And for me, things got really dark, and it doesn't have to get really dark before you make the decision to make a change. So you can make that decision now that not another minute, not another second, am I going to continue living this same existence? Um, Change is possible. I see it every day. I teach it and I live it. So I don't just teach it. I live this work and I love it. And fortunately, I get to do this for my work now and I feel like one of the luckiest humans on the earth. So I invite you to share with me what is that one aligned action you're going to take this week that's different than what you normally do. and let me know how it feels and let me know how I can help you along the way. And please take an opportunity to schedule a call with me to see how I can help you to really embody the work. And I can tell you that it's possible to have everything you put on this paper. It is absolutely possible. And I can walk you through the actual process um, on how to do this and change your life. So, um, reach out to me with any questions. I will definitely send out an email. I'll resend the worksheet just in case anybody doesn't have it or can't put their hands on it. And I'll also send out a link to book a call. No pressure, no stress, but something caught your attention, something spoke to you about this topic or wanting more for your life. And listen to that voice because it knows, it's telling you. And if nothing changes in your life, nothing changes. And it's hard to do without the support. I'll be honest. I did a lot of free things, a lot of free every YouTube video you can imagine. I have so many books in my library, but it wasn't until I actually got a mentor and allowed somebody to walk me through the change process, hold me accountable to new behaviors, eliminate some of the bumps in the road. I'd already faced a number of them, but to help me bypass some of the unnecessary, um, I don't know, and roadblocks. But that's what a mentor does because they've already walked that walk and they're on their way back now. So I welcome you to reach out, and I'm thankful for you being here, for registering. I do a workshop every month, so please join me next month. You do have to re-register. It's the same registration link, but it will take you to a new topic once I figure out the new topic, which I do within the next couple of days. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful night or day, wherever you are tuning in from.